Good afternoon. My name is James Tierney. I'm with TierneyEducation.com, and I just got back from Stanford University. The core econ team, don't worry, more links below, just check the description, held a conference at the Center for the Advancement of Behavioral Sciences there at Stanford. And it was a day-and-a-half event about the core econ project, but also a lot about ed tech and where technology is going to be helping or hurting with overall educational equity. And of course, the topic of the night of the day was Chat GPT and other large language models. I learned so much over the few days there in Palo Alto, and I want to bring some of it to you. The first night, I had dinner with a few people that I've known before, that I've met for the first time here. Carla was there, Amy, Florencia, Mark, Brandon. We were just at this table, might have been drinking a little bit of wine, and really got to talking about the future of education with something like Chat GPT. And I went over a few of the tips that that I've been doing. Like, what are some things that I've been doing with Chat GPT to help me in my classrooms? May it be it's helping with teaching, so some of the ways that I've been able to ask students questions using Chat GPT in the classroom. Also, how I'm trying to cut down on the administrative tasks that I have to do. For example, sending emails or writing rubrics, helping out with letters of recommendation. And I told the people at that table that I would finish my Chat GPT in the Classroom YouTube video, which is what I did today. So I decided to scrap everything I'd done before and took more customer discovery from the people at that table and the things that we talked about, and made a quick video on how we can be using Chat GPT as faculty members. So that's what this video is. So I'll make sure that I have some chapters so you can skip ahead if you want. If you have other tips, please put them in the chat below, and hopefully you enjoy a few different tips on how you can use Chat GPT in your classroom.
Let's start off with writing an email to our class. We can go right at the beginning of the semester. We're going to be writing an email that's just introducing who we are and getting the students excited. So I'm here in the Chat GPT terminal, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about me. So I'm going to actually post one of my bios into Chat GPT. I'm going to open up a new tab. I have a bios doc. Do the longer one. So let's say here is a little bit about me, James Tierney. Okay, so now the chatbot is going to learn a little bit more about me. I'm going to stop generating this. It's just going to start kind of summarizing it. I'd like to write a welcome email to my students. They are a mix of college-aged students in an introduction to entrepreneurship, not spelled right, but doesn't matter, class. The class title is MGMT 215, the entrepreneurial, again, doesn't matter about spelling, mindset. It is at Penn State University. Can you write a welcome email that gets the students excited for the course? You can let them know we will go over the syllabus on the first day and that it is attached to the email. Please use a friendly tone and introduce who I am a bit. Thank you. I always say thank you because I want my robot overlords to respect me when they take over. So let's see what the sample welcome email is. Welcome to Management 215, the Entrepreneurial Mindset. Dear students, welcome to MGMT 215, the Entrepreneurial Mindset. I hope this email finds you well and that you are looking forward to the start of the semester. My name is James Tierney, and I will be your instructor for this course. First and foremost, I want to express my excitement for this class and the opportunity to teach and learn alongside you. As we embark on this journey, I hope that you will come to appreciate and develop your own entrepreneurial mindset. This class will challenge you to think creatively, problem solve, and take calculated risks as we explore the world of entrepreneurship. We'll begin by going over the syllabus during the first class, which I've attached to this email for your reference. Please take time to review it before class as it outlines the goals, expectations, and assignments for the course. In this class, we will have a mix of lectures, discussions, and hands-on activities that will require your active participation and engagement. My goal is to create a fun and interactive learning environment that fosters collaboration and creativity. If you have any questions or concerns about the course assignments, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to support and guide you through the semester. I'm looking forward to get to know you all and learning together. See you soon. Now that was a pretty good email. It didn't include anything about me. Can you rewrite that and include a little bit from my bio above? Let's see if I can do this. Sure, okay. They revised it. So you can interact with this bot. Ah, love it. Makes me excited. Same thing, my name is, you'd think they would add my name in it. I'm actually gonna try that in the next iteration. I grew up in upstate New York. I pursued a master's degree in economics, been teaching at Penn State several years now. My passion helps line. And then everything else looks to be the same. So they just took a little bit of my information, which I posted from my bio, and put it into that top paragraph. That's awesome. Everything else looks to be the same, right? You know what? I want to see if it does that. Instead of, this is gonna be a long video, I'm sorry. Instead of your name, can you put Professor Tierney? Let's see how it goes. Welcome to Management 215, find you well. My name is Professor Tierney, yes. This actually probably takes longer than just cutting it and pasting it into an email and sending it, but it's more fun. And still, this is saving time rather than having to type this whole long email out, which is great. So we already went through this, read it once, and it's gonna keep the same things because it's just revising what you wrote above. And so you can use this, cut and paste it right in for your welcome email, and bada bing, bada boom, saved a few minutes. And we all know how important our time is as faculty. Another thing you can do is help it write rubrics. I've already done this twice. I'm gonna give you an example of what I did. I currently teach entrepreneurial finance at Susquehanna University as well. Go Riverhawks. And I had them, the first day of class, I had them do a presentation. I want to get my students in front of people and talking. And one group had to present on a venture capital firm they never heard of before. And I wanted to make sure that they had some sort of guidance. And so I asked Chat GPT what might be some things I would include in a rubric. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll come up with some slightly different things than what I got the first time. That's more of a video on how Chat GPT actually does things. I'll put a couple links in the description below if you want to read deeper into it. But anyways, so I told it what I was doing. I'm having some of my students present 3 to 5 minutes on a venture capital firm that they have never heard about before. This is a class titled Entrepreneurial Finance at Susquehanna University. The presentation must be 3 to 5 minutes long and include background information on the firm, their investments, and other details. Can you help me develop a rubric? I want the presentation to be out of 20 points. Thank you. Let's see what happens. Ooh, love this. I love it already. Background information. Did the presenter provide a clear and concise overview of the venture capital firm? Did it, and it gives you the points, investments. Did it describe the investment portfolio? Oh, I definitely need that. The impact on the startup ecosystem. Ooh, that's not one that they said last time, and I really like that. Delivery, 5 points. Was it well organized? Bonus points, up to 5 points. Did they provide unique insight? Ooh, I don't like bonus points. I'm not a bonus points type person. I don't want bonus points. Can you take that out or include it with the rest of the points? Oh, I'm gonna see what this does. It didn't give me bonus points last time. This is cool. So updated without the bonus points. So it does the background info, it does the investments. I wonder if it's just going to do background investments deliver, it's just going to get rid of bonus points altogether. That's what I think it's going to do. And that's okay. Oh, yeah. Right, the rubric should have a guideline. So great. Perfect. As delivery, investments, background information. Okay. Let's do this. We already talked about emails. Let's say I want to send an email out to my students the night before to say, hey, make sure you get all these things. Maybe not the night before, maybe a week before when they're presenting it or whatever. Can you write an email to students with the information above, telling them we will be doing research and presentations on venture capital firms in class tomorrow? So to please come prepared and ready to have fun. Let's see what the email comes out, people. Sure, here's an example email. Thank you, Chat GPT. Tomorrow's class, research and presentation on venture capital firms. Dear students, hope this email finds you well. Tomorrow we'll be diving into the exciting world of venture capital firms in our entrepreneurial finance class. As a part of this, I'm asking each of you to prepare a 3 to 5 minute presentation on a venture capital firm that you've never heard of before. We'll be using this as an opportunity to learn more about these firms and their investments. To prepare for the class, please take some time to do some research on your own. Nice. It should include background. We'll be using a rubric, which we have 20 points. The rubric includes 3 areas. I've attached the rubric. Oh, even better. I'm looking forward to what you come up with. Let's change this slightly. I like this. However, it will be a group project, and they don't need to do any research outside of class. Can you change the email slightly? Let's see what happens. Modified version to reflect those changes. Dear students, hope this email finds you well. Tomorrow in class, we'll be exploring the exciting world of venture capital firms in our entrepreneurial finance class. As part of this, I'd like you to work in groups of 3 to 4 to prepare a 3 to 5 minute presentation that hasn't heard of before. Using this opportunity to learn about them. To prepare, you'll have time during class to do some research on the venture capital firm. Your group's presentation should include background information, their investments. You'll have 3 to 5 minutes, so please come prepared to deliver a clear and concise overview. We'll be using the rubric to grade your presentations, all that stuff. So this is pretty good. I would probably cut and paste and change this. This is a little weird because it always talks about the 3 to 5 minutes. And your presentation should include background information. That's fine. You'll have 3 to 5 minutes to present. Please come prepared to deliver. No, because we're going to prepare in class. So I'd probably get rid of that. And I would get rid of the to prepare, but then I'd send it out. So I created a rubric. I have an email. This has saved me time. That's the biggest thing I think that large language models like Chat GPT are going to help us as faculty members in the classroom, is we can do more things and we can focus more on coming up with the creative ideas of the projects we want to do, use an assistant to help us creatively think about how we will grade it, what things we might want, all that fun stuff. Another way that I've been using Chat GPT in my classroom is to think of examples to give on topics that I may not be too familiar with. So I'm teaching entrepreneurial finance, just like I've been saying, and there are some topics in there that I'm not too familiar with. I mean, I've read the textbook 3 times now, and I've done my own research. But for example, convertible debt, right? I understand what it is, and I think I have a good job of explaining it. But I don't have the experience like I did in economics, where I could really break down a topic. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, I'm teaching convertible debt tomorrow in class. I want to explain it in simple terms. Can you do that for me? And it explains it to me in simple terms that I can then pass on to my students. Convertible debt is a type of investment, starts out as a loan, has the potential to convert into ownership in a company. So instead of saying equity there, they say ownership in a company. When someone invests in a convertible debt, they loan money to a company, just like they would with any other loan. However, instead of receiving interest payments, the investor has the option to convert the loan into equity in the company at a later date. This means that they do well, it becomes more valuable. The investor can choose to convert their debt into ownership, usually in the form of shares of stock. That's great. If it does not do well, can still receive their money as a loan with interest. It's often used by startups that need funding. It can be a way to attract early investors, potential. This is great. This is a great thing for me to then say, okay, I know how I can explain this in the class. Or it's something that I can give to my students beforehand. So what I did was I sent them an email that we're going to be learning about this topic tomorrow. Here's a brief overview. can you send an email to my students getting them pumped for convertible debt in class tomorrow, giving them a simple example of convertible debt, perhaps explaining convertible debt to them in very simple terms, like if they were still in high school. And let's see what kind of email they come up with. As you notice, like, I really like to communicate with my students in the classroom. And so I do spend a lot of time sending emails and drafting emails. This has helped me be a better communicator with my students and not spend 15, 20 minutes every single time I want to write an email. I hope you're doing well, ready for class tomorrow on convertible debt. I know the talk may sound intimidating. I promise it's not as complicated as it seems. In very simple terms, gives you some simple terms. Get your $10 back. If it takes off, your $10 could be much more valuable. This type of investment is often used. I'm excited to dive deeper into this topic. This is a great email to send to students. They now have a little bit of information before they come to class, even if they haven't done whatever required reading. You have more communication with them. And so let's continue to use things like Chat GPT to help us in the classroom. Going off of that idea, maybe you want to explain something to a student that comes into office hours and they really don't get something. So let's go and do a statistics example. Let's say something like the sum of squared errors. I have a student who is confused about the sum of squared errors. Can you help me come up with a couple of examples for them? Let's see what our assistant, large language model like ChatGPT, comes up with. All right, we have a data set. We want to predict the price of a house based on its size. We fit a linear regression to the data. We get this equation. We have a house with the size, so we have all this other stuff, and so it's giving us a nice example that we can do with them. The difference is the error. Great. However, if this one was predicted, but the actual price, okay, so it's the error. To calculate the sum, we square them, and we add them up. Perfect. Oh, it's giving us more examples. That's right, I did ask it for a couple of examples. For those of you who are still sticking around, hanging out with me on this video, it's not a webinar or anything, thank you. So it keeps going. This is what this example is for test scores, so that's great. These are examples that I can give in my classroom if I aren't already using these examples. We could ask for more. I wonder how many they're going to give us. The sum of squared errors would be, do that. Oh, perfect. So it gave us a couple of examples that we can use. We can now use that maybe in my lecture material. Can you explain the sum of squared errors and what it actually does in terms for a, let's say, 5th grader? Let's see how simplified of terms it could give. Because maybe I have a student who's like, I just don't get it. And how do we want to express that to them? ChatGPT can help. Sum of squared errors is a way to measure how well a math formula, is doing to predicting something. Let's use some easier, a big jar of marbles. How many marbles are in the jar size? You might come up with a formula that says 5 times the size plus 10. That's right, I want to see how it's working. So you pick some different sizes, you do it all. Oh, this gives like a very straightforward example that, hopefully our students can come up with. And how to calculate it, what is it measuring? We have to, make sure they're all positive numbers. The reason we square the differences is to make sure that they're all positive numbers. Like that's a statement that we probably, with the curse of knowledge of instructors, we probably just think, oh yeah, that's obvious. But a lot of our stat students might not. So that's some squared errors. So this is wonderful. Now, a student might come in office hours, or maybe they email you and they ask you for some more examples. And you have them, but you just really don't have the time to spend to type them all out or to type this out. You can use ChatGPT to help you. The last example I'm going to give is a little more iffy. I do it, but I know some people are a little hesitant on it. I am using ChatGPT to help me write better letters of recommendation for my students when they're applying for internships, grad school, master's programs, PhD programs, whatever it is. I want to make sure that I'm giving them the best chance, and I know that my writing skills are not perfect, And just like I would use Grammarly or maybe a grammar check in Word, I'm using Chat GPT to help me. Now, I want to tell you a specific example. I won't use a student's name or their information, but I had written them a letter of recommendation 3 years ago when they went for an internship. Then they spent a couple of years in the Peace Corps, and now they are back and they're trying to get into law school. So what I ended up doing is I ended up cutting and pasting their entire cover letter into Chat GPT. So, I would just like say, here's a cover letter, I would type it in, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'd cut and paste it in. And it learned about the student. I then cut and pasted my old letter of recommendation and said, these are the things I wrote about them a few years ago. I then went to the law school that they were applying to, and I took the information that they said, like, these are the qualities we're looking for. I made sure to cut and paste that in. So it's not like me just saying, hey, can you write a letter of recommendation for John, I don't want to use John Smith. Let's do John Scott. Same thing. Let's do John Scott. Recommendation for John Scott, who is applying for law school. This isn't going to be a great letter. There's no personality. There's nothing. It's just kind of a basic thing. So we still need to include our own information, right? So again, a tip that I would give: upload the actual cover letter that your student gives you. Require your students to, if you're writing a letter of recommendation, to give you like a cover letter or a statement of purpose. Include their resume. You can cut and paste their resume into it. Include anything else you've written before. Maybe you wrote someone else a letter of recommendation and you want to include that so that way the chatbot learns how your voice and your tone is. And then you want to make sure you include anything specific about the internship or the law school into it so it can help you write everything out. Obviously, you're going to want to read this, edit it yourself, but it can give you a really great template to write these types of letters of recommendation. Thank you so much for hanging out here with ChatGPT. There's so many more things I've been using it for, and as I do, I'll update some videos, so make sure that you're subscribing, liking. Go and head over to tierney.education.com, check out the other stuff that I have going on. Reach out to me, james@tierney.education.com. Find me on all the social medias. I just love to talk about this stuff. There'll be a ton of resources in the comments below. Again, like, subscribe, reach out. Talk to you soon.